In today's video, we're going to look at 7 things that poor people waste money on, as described by Warren Buffett. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Helen, and in today's video, we're going to talk about 7 things that poor people waste money on, and these are things that Warren Buffett has pointed out at some point in the past. So let's just jump right into it. The first thing that poor people waste money on is a new car. When you buy a new car, you are actually buying something at a premium, and as soon as you drive it off the lot, it has lost value. Generally speaking, it is better to buy your cars used so that you're no longer paying for that extra premium. Now, we got a off-lease BMW back when we were looking at cars to replace an older car, and it was only 3 years old when we bought it. And the benefit of buying it off lease was that instead of paying $60,000 for that car, which was the new car price for the specific car that we bought, we ended up only paying about $20,000, and that was just because it was an off-lease 3-year-old car. It had some mileage on it, not very much. It was only about 30,000 miles, I believe. And we ended up getting a much better deal by simply waiting and buying the car after a couple of years. One of the benefits of buying used is that you're not having a huge depreciation as soon as you buy the car. So that is one of the things you want to avoid if your goal is to become rich. Don't buy your car new, buy it a couple of years old. It'll save you a lot of money in that way. The second thing that a lot of poor people will waste money on is credit card debt. Even though credit cards can be a very useful tool, they're not ideal when you carry the debt forward. Generally speaking, most credit cards will have an interest rate that is somewhere between 15 to 30%. That is a very high interest rate. And if you carry the debt forward on any kind of credit card, you're paying between 2 and 3% per month on that particular debt, no matter how much or how little it might be. Now, you also have to take into account that with credit cards, if you pay them late, you're already going to have an additional fee. If you overdraft on a credit card, that's again another additional fee. So one of the things that Warren Buffett has said poor people are wasting money on is credit card debt, because it does really add up when you include late fees, overdraft fees, and interest. The third thing that poor people tend to waste money on is drinking at bars. Now, this one is pretty unexpected for anyone who isn't really paying attention, but in reality, buying a drink at a bar can be very expensive. If you were to buy that same exact drink, let's say any beer or anything like that, at a grocery store, you would probably pay somewhere between $1.50 to $2 for that drink. If you buy that same exact drink at a bar, you could be paying $5 or even up to $10, depending on what kind of bar it is, what kind of location it's in, and other variables. So the markup on a drink at a bar is very, very high. Typically, it'll be at least double, if not triple the price of what you would pay in any grocery store. So that is one of those things that you want to avoid wasting your money on, and just buy your drinks and enjoy them at home. If you want to have friends over for a drink, just get it at home. It will save you a lot of money in the long run. The fourth thing that a lot of poor people will waste money on is meals at a restaurant. Now, there's nothing wrong with going out occasionally for a meal at a restaurant, maybe a special occasion, a birthday, an anniversary. But when you are going out to a restaurant all the time, it adds up very, very quickly. As a general rule, if you are cooking in the house, the amount that you will spend on a meal per person is probably going to fall somewhere between $2 and $5. If you go to a restaurant for a meal, it can cost you between $15 and $30. Sometimes it's even more if you're talking about a fancy restaurant. So you should really keep in mind that buying anything at a restaurant can really add up, especially if you do it all the time. Keep your restaurant meals to special occasions. It'll really help out when you're looking at your finances. The fifth thing that poor people waste money on is actually gambling. Now, this one might be a surprise to anyone who doesn't gamble, but gambling is designed for the house to win. That means that the gambling institution, whether you're going out to gamble at a casino or whether you are gambling, let's say, on a computer, or you're even just buying lottery tickets, you are not expected to win. Generally speaking, the casino is going to win. You're not going to be taking away more than you went in with. Now, of course, if you were to win and you just walk away right away, you will probably come away with something. But that's not usually how it works. Most of the time, the casino is the one that wins. So if you are going to gamble and if you want to enjoy, let's say, going to a casino if you're visiting someplace like Las Vegas, the goal should be to keep within a strict budget. If you go into a casino and you have a budget of $20, you gamble that, once it's gone, then you just leave. Because gambling will take money out of your pocket. It's never going to put money into your pocket unless you get particularly lucky and you decide to leave. So gambling is highly addictive. It is very easy to keep going and thinking that you're going to win more and more. Just avoid it if you can. Or if you do want to enjoy something where you are going gambling, keep in mind that you want to go in with a strict budget. The sixth thing that poor people will often spend money on is cigarettes and smoking. So if you are smoking, even if it's not cigarettes, but let's say you use vapes or anything else like that, it adds up very, very quickly. On average, most smokers will pay as much as $200 per month on cigarettes or vaping equipment or anything like that. So it adds up very, very fast. It is very expensive. And it's not just the cost of the cigarettes themselves. The cigarettes are costly, but the medical bills that come with smoking are even more costly. So one of the things that poor people waste money on, and they really want to start trying to avoid wasting money on, is cigarettes. If you do smoke or if you use vapes or anything like that, you will want to start getting off of those because it's not only a bad habit that is very bad for your health, but it's also very bad for your finances. The final thing that a lot of poor people are wasting money on is gadgets and new devices. Now, technology is constantly changing and it is very exciting and interesting to see what's coming out. But if you have a phone last year that you've just purchased, the next year, your phone is not likely to have a lot of changes. You will probably notice that most of the time, the changes in a new phone from one year to the next year is actually quite small. So it's not very smart to spend money on one phone and then 1 year later buy the next phone, unless of course your phone were to break or something like that were to happen. But if you still have a phone from the previous year that is working well, there's no problems with it, you don't want to buy another phone. It's just a waste of your money. It would be far better for you to put that money into an investment and see it grow over time. And then when you need a new phone, you buy a phone at that time. Generally speaking, most phones will last anywhere from 4 to 6 years before you would need to replace them. And that is a long enough time frame between phones that the amount of changes between one phone and the next will be significant. So if you guys like this video, please subscribe and I will see you in the next one.